Hello everyone. Welcome you all for this session. I'm so sorry to say that we being a little bit late because the mentors and then the mentees is not appeared here. There are certain rules or the structure is there of this session. Each presenter will present for 3 minutes, and when all the presenter from B1, when they will finish, then we'll have question answer session. It will go for 20 minutes. So I'd like to request you when the presenter will start presenting, please make some notes about their presentation. If you like anything, or if you are confused about anything, or you would like to know more about their topic or their situation, then you can note down and then ask when we'll have question answer session. I'm sure that we can take a little bit more time as well, because one slot we are not doing, so we can take time. You should not worry about. Even the presenter is presenting for 3 minutes, but I don't think that we should be strict on the timing as well. Okay, and I think, to let you know about myself, it's me, Ngo Ngué Gaelle. I'm originally from Nepal, currently living in the UK, and I'm the MenTRnet member from the start of MenTRnet. So I hope you know about MenTRnet as well. So let's welcome our first mentor, Miriam Swing, for starting the session with her mentees.
Okay, thank you, Gyanu. It's very nice to see you again. So we're calling from the UK, and we've got five teachers who are going to present today. And the teachers have all done a module on our MATEFL course, and the module is run by Professor Richard Smith. And what they do as part of their module is that they plan an exploratory action research project. They don't generally carry it through because they're obviously here on the MA. So they do a plan and they go through the first loop of exploratory action research. And then they put an action research plan together. They do say how they would evaluate whether it was effective or not, but they don't actually go through with the whole thing. We hope that when they get back home, they have the opportunity then to put it into practice. So that's part of a module called Innovating that Richard Smith heads up and I assist with. So today we've got Samanda, who's going to present first, and we've got Lavanya, Jingjing, Ugloy, and Mariana, and they are all experienced teachers. So, Gyanu, is there anything else that you would like to know? Or should we make a start?
I think we can start now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to remember how the Zoom works. So do I need to share my screen? Yeah.
Click on share at the bottom, which is like in a green box, and then click on the. It should work.
Yeah. Sorry, so it's a bit of a mess here. I'm going to actually. Oh, gosh, why can't I pull that down? Sorry. Dear me. Don't know why that's not.
It was there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see if I can zoom in on it. Okay, Samanda, are you ready to do your presentation? Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, may I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samandar Yusupov, and I'm an MATEFL graduate from the University of Warwick. Today, I would like to share my exploratory research on the challenges of spontaneous speaking in online IELTS classes. In my online IELTS lessons, I often noticed that students struggle to respond spontaneously during speaking tasks. Many of them paused for a long time or relied on memorized answers. At first, I believed this problem was mainly related to limited vocabulary or grammar knowledge. However, after conducting this research, I realized that the issue is much more complex. The study was conducted in online IELTS preparation classes in my country, Uzbekistan, where I teach two groups of students aged between 20 and 25. Most of them are preparing for IELTS and some of them for SAFR, it's our national certificate system, in order to study abroad or improve their career opportunities. To investigate the issue, I used several methods. I conducted a survey with 11 students, organized two focus group discussions, analyzed recorded lessons, and reflected on my own teaching practice. The findings showed three main challenges. Firstly, high anxiety played an important role in my classes. Problems regarding spontaneous speaking. Many students were afraid of making mistakes or being judged by others. Second, the online environment itself created additional pressure, especially when students had to turn on their cameras or speak directly to their teacher. I mean, me. Third, students experienced cognitive overload. Even when they knew the language, they found it difficult to quickly generate ideas or organize their responses. In response to these findings, I designed an 8-week action plan to gradually develop students' spontaneity when it comes to speaking. The plan focused on creating a supportive classroom environment, teaching speaking strategies and lexical activation, and encouraging speaking practice beyond the classroom, such as voice chat activities through different platforms and peer speaking partners. Overall, this research helped me understand that spontaneous speaking is not only a linguistic challenge, but also an emotional and cognitive one. Therefore, in my future teaching experience, I should focus not only on teaching language, but also on creating conditions that help students feel confident and speak more naturally.
Okay, thank you, Samanda. We're gonna, that was great, and about 3 minutes, I think, as well. So thank you, it's very interesting. Gonna move on then to invite Lavanya to speak. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this a better size. Lavanya, are you ready?
Yeah, correct. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Lavanya from Malaysia. So as for my research, the title would be Encouraging Balanced Participation in Large Mixed Ability ESL Classrooms. So I did teach in a local suburban secondary school back in Malaysia. So I would say that my students were actually having like different abilities, which means that in the same class, there were students with high proficiency and there were also students with low proficiency. What I meant by low proficiency is that there were students who couldn't even like be able to read or even like write simple sentences or construct sentences. And since there were about 45 to 47 students in a class, I feel like my biggest challenge that time was I did not know how to balance the participation between high proficiency and also low proficiency students. Therefore, my research would actually focus on how can I improve and manage classroom participation effectively in a large mixed ability ESL classroom. So as for my methodology, what I did was I actually employed a survey and I distributed them to 20 of my former students. And I also interviewed some of the teachers and I analyzed a lot of research papers. And some of my findings include that there was this dominance of high proficiency students. That means low proficiency students believe that they need more time to process their thoughts, which means they need more thinking time compared to high proficiency students, as they were very quick in answering a question or even when it comes to discussion in groups. And there were also factors like anxiety and also fear of judgment, portrayed, especially reported by students who perceive that their English is not good. So they were not willing to participate in classrooms or discussions because they have this fear of being judged by their other classmates, especially when they don't speak proper English or when they make grammatical mistakes. Besides that, noisy classroom was also a factor that was actually hindering their participation in a classroom, in a large ESL classroom. So based on these findings, students actually prefer when teachers provide them a clear structure, which means we have to be like very explicit in terms of delivering the instructions and to let them know what we are actually expecting from them. And they also appreciate when teachers can give them more thinking time instead of directly asking them the answers for a question. They prefer if we can allow them few minutes to think about it. And some teachers also did say that they encourage pair work for students before they share their answers with others in the classrooms. So for this, I would actually implement think pair share a routine. I would allocate 2 minutes for each of the stages. Currently, I'm thinking of implementing it twice weekly for 4 weeks, and I would always rotate the pairs. And I would focus more attention to those passive students or students who need more attention. And some of my evaluation methods would be student exit tickets at the end of every lesson, participation checklist, peer observation from colleagues, and I also will have a self-reflection. Yeah, that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavanya. Good. I'm going to just see if I can navigate to the next one now. Sorry. Jing, are you ready?
Yes, but Mary, I have a problem with my camera. Is that okay if I don't
That's
use it?
fine. Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay.
You carry on.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
I start with my context. Hi everyone, I'm Jing, and I'm from China. So I used to teach English in a senior secondary school in China, where I prepare students for high-stake national matriculation English test. And so one issue that I recognized in my context is that since speaking is not tested, and so we spend a lot of time on just exam-related study, and so students don't have a lot of speaking practice and they have very weak oral proficiency. And also another problem with the lack of speaking practice is that they, since they don't use English as a real world skill, they have low intrinsic motivation. So I intend to focus on how can I integrate speaking skill development into an exam-oriented curriculum that is focused on reading and writing. And I collected data through personal reflection, reading, and interviews with my students and colleagues. And what I found from this data is that speaking practice is crucial, even if it is not tested. Because for one thing, as the posters shows, it can increase intrinsic motivation, because when students have the opportunity to actually use language, it can actually empowers the students and improve their agency and autonomy and motivates them to engage in deep, meaningful learning rather than just superficial level of learning like rote learning. And for another reason, speaking as a form of output can push learner to process language more deeply. Like if they are actually using the language, they are producing something, they have to think about the morphology and syntax. And so this finding really gives me more confidence to include speaking practice in my context. And the obstacles I recognized is that students have accent anxiety. And another obstacle is that there's a lack of engaging speaking activities in the course books. And so I've come up with an action plan, which is to firstly normalize accent diversity and then adapt speaking activities by personalizing the discussion questions or introducing different various forms of activities. And after the implementation, I intend to evaluate the impact through a triangulation approach, including student surveys and teacher talk recordings and focused classroom observations from my colleagues. And that is my research focus. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Jing. Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Ugloy. Ugloy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, wonderful. Hi.
Hi.
Let's see if I can.
Great. Hello, everybody. My name is Ngo Ngué, and I teach adult students online in an online setting. And most of them have their 9-to-5 jobs, and they need English not for academic purposes, but for communicative purposes. They want to learn English to use it in real life. So I would say they come from different backgrounds. Some of them are doctors, some of them let's say engineers. So I started to sense that my students feel anxious in my classes, so that it can be a real barrier for them because they need English for communicative purposes. So I started to explore by asking myself, is that important? And also, like, I used some reflections, and I had a look on some empirical studies, and also I talked with other teachers who usually teach online. And I also asked my students to write reflective writing after each class. And we had small interviews with my students, and the exploration part shows that actually anxiety directly affects students' willingness to participate, and it was also noted in some empirical studies. And online learners feel more anxiety than those who study on site, which blocks also learning. And I found out that they have fear of making mistakes and fear of being judged because they're adults. Actually, we are more sensitive than, let's say, children. And sometimes they have lack of ideas, lack of vocabulary, and sensitivity to being corrected. And also assessment also makes it, let's say, more complicated, makes them more anxious. And in order to, let's say, make the situation, in order to solve this problem, I made an action plan, which starts from creating a better learning environment. And I started with personalizing classroom interaction. As I had access, actually, I did the action part, and I started to ask about their experiences and follow-up questions, because some things that they know, some things that they have experienced is more easy to talk rather than some things they don't know anything about. Let's say cities in the United States, they don't know much about them. And I added some warm-up activities which made them prepare for the class. Let's say this is not complicated, such as like telling 3 facts about shopping habits. So if they start with something prepared, they feel more confident. And I also informed my students discussion topics before the class, and I sometimes allowed their native language during idea generation. And I tried to ask follow-up questions and provide non-verbal support such as nodding, smiling, and affirmative facial expressions, because they are really helpful. And I implemented in 3 weeks, and in the first week and in the second week I implemented warm-up activities and personalization, and the data showed that they had very increased participation, and they started to feel more confident. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ugloy. That's great. Okay, and we're going to just move to the final presenter then. And that's Marina. Marina, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So, good afternoon. My name is Marina Bebka and I'm from Kazakhstan. Today, I would like to present my research on active participation in online IELTS classes and explore why adult learners, they often avoid speaking during the classes. In my context, participation was quite uneven. Just a small group of confident learners, they spoke regularly, while others, they remained silent or preferred using the chat to communicate with the rest of the group, as well as with the teacher. And so that made me question whether the issue was language ability or maybe something deeper. And also, I would like to mention that in my study, participation was not defined only by the ability to speak fluently. So it included commenting, asking questions, engaging in tasks, as well as preparing their ideas. And so this broader understanding helped me to see that participation was not only performance, it was mostly a gradual process. And through student survey, informal discussion with my colleagues, as well as classroom observation, I managed to identify three key barriers. You can see them on a poster. So they are active, cognitive, and environmental. And I would like to emphasize the idea that many adult learners, they experience performance anxiety, they still have fear of making mistakes, and sometimes they complain that they have experienced cognitive fatigue after work. So that means this highlights the idea that we need to create psychological safety during the classes. And when we move on to the second barrier, so that is cognitive, I want to identify, explain that some learners, they sometimes struggle to generate spontaneous responses, and so that made me spontaneous responses, and they require preparation time for thinking. So, and also some adult learners, they are accustomed to teacher-centered learning habits, and so this highlights the necessity to design structured thinking support. And environmental barrier was also an obvious factor. So, and in order to address these barriers, I use a rich scaffolding framework, and you can see it also on a poster. So in this case, R stands for regrouping. So that means using small breakout rooms and rotating students' roles to reduce anxiety and distribute responsibility. I stands for instruction, so that is to give clear step-by-step explanations. C stands for checking, concept checking, using instructions, checking questions to ensure that learners understand the task before speaking. And H stands for handouts and guided support, structured worksheets. And the goal of the REACH framework is just not to force participation, but to gradually increase learners' readiness and confidence to speak. So that is all. Maybe too quick.
Yeah. Thank you, Marina. Wonderful. That was great. So, oops. Ngo, what would you like me to do now? Should I?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam, and thank you very much, all the presenters. Now is the time for question answer session. Yeah. So I believe the participants have noted down some of the ideas, and then whether you will share those ideas or you can ask questions to each participants. It's presenters, please. Samira,
would you like
yes,
me to stop sharing, Ngo?
Yeah, you stop sharing and then, yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Samira, please, you can ask the question if you have any. I can see.
Hi everyone. I'm Samira from India. I haven't really started my research or any kind of action research, so I really love whatever I'm seeing right now. A lot of impetus, I think, on classroom research. It made me think, a lot of the presenters talked about how anxiety can hold people back, especially language learners. So I was thinking, because you're the expert here, this is just something that's going on my mind at the moment. Um, can we propose this as teachers? Instead of asking students to make their presentation in front of a class, allowing them to feel anxious. I think most students would feel equally anxious if they were to talk in their own mother tongue. So perhaps a few classes on just having to do some public speaking and then maybe gradually transitioning to speaking English. Do you think this would be a good option? Just asking. Thank you so much.
Samira, to whom you'd like to ask this question?
The last person that talked about the rich framework, especially because it was very balanced, I felt, since it had a framework. So would this involve something part of his rich framework or would it not?
Okay, thank you very much, Samira. Marina, the question is for you.
Well, actually, I support this idea that we sometimes we just need to allow our learners to choose when do they feel confident to speak up, because anxiety is not related only to our ability to speak fluently. So mostly it is psychological factors. And what I actually practice during my classes, I don't force adult learners to speak. So I give them time to feel comfortable. And so when we allow them when we give them the opportunity to be responsible for speaking, so it definitely helps them to overcome anxiety naturally, rather than forcing them to do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Marina. Yeah, I agree with you. For me as well, when I am with adult learners, I just provide them a real life situation so that they find it easy to talk. It will be comfortable for them to say the things going around with them. So yeah, instead of forcing them, it will be good to have a suitable topic for them to talk. Yeah. Padma, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Hello, hi.
Yeah.
Your presentation is quite interesting. And the same question that I wanted to ask you is, how have you managed to navigate their anxiety in creating a safe environment to your students?
The question is for Marina again, or the other speak?
This question is for Lavanya.
Okay, yeah.
Including speaking activities.
Okay, thank you, Padma.
Hi, okay. I think one thing that I did to actually navigate or like to actually provide a comfortable space for them to speak is by not correcting their mistakes on the spot. So just like let them speak during the class. It's okay to make mistakes as long as they practice, because I believe that for them, if let's say if a speaker is trying to speak and if you're going to just like pinpoint on the mistakes or on the errors that they are making, and then they would actually hesitate. They wouldn't like even try to speak anymore. So that is what worked with me. I perhaps would just take notes. And then when I can have like a one-to-one session with them, then I would tell them, okay, what are some of the mistakes that you did or how can you improve that? Because some of them believe that, and based on the research that I did as well, some of them, they do not like being corrected in front of the peers. They feel that it's some sort of embarrassment for that. So I feel like that's something that I took into consideration as well when I was teaching, and this is what I did. And I feel like it actually helped my students to participate more effectively in my classrooms.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with you. And can I have one more question to you?
Yeah.
What are the methods introduced to manage time for low proficiency students as they take preparation time to express their views? And how did you navigate to make them little more spontaneous at the end of the action plan?
This action, I haven't fully implemented this action plan. This is just a plan for us because we are still like MATEFL students. And once we go back to into practice, we would implement this. But one thing that worked for some of my students were by providing them with prompts when it comes to speaking activities. So because as teachers, we would know like how to categorize them, like whether they belong to the high proficiency or low proficiency students. For those low proficiency students, for each speaking task based on the context, providing them prompts which they can follow whether it be in a role play or presentation helps them as well.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you very much, both the question and for the question, Padma, and then also the answer, Lavana. Yeah, instead of correcting the student promptly, we can just have a delayed correction method. We can use that. So in general, what kind of a mistake the student can make, we can just generalize and then have some of the ideas ourselves and then correct it to the whole class instead of just pointing, okay, you would made this mistake and then, okay, I'm correcting it. Not this way, but in general, delayed correction, if we do, then it will be helpful for the speakers who have anxiety. Okay, thank you. Any other question, please? Any question? If not, Samantha, are you here?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, please, miss. Yeah.
I really like the questions and the answers that the teacher researchers have given here. One thing that strikes me as very significant is that, delayed correction or making them less anxious or allowing them to speak in their own language, or these are all things we have known sufficiently about, more as sort of ELT theory or knowledge. But when you actually implement it, it's so effective, it's so powerful. So I really think that when it comes from actual practice and from the teachers themselves, it has a lot more credibility or importance than when you read about it as theory. So I'm very generally very, very happy that this is sort of emerging, some kind of effective findings from the ground, from the field. So congratulations to all the teacher researchers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Samantha, I heard that you're saying about emotional and cognitive challenges of speaking online. Could you please tell a little bit more about that to us, please?
Okay. When I was conducting my exploratory research, I talked to my students in my online classes. So they said when I asked them some questions, especially in IELTS style questions, like speaking part 3 questions, they mainly lost their mind or they felt frozen when they were asked some questions. So they don't know how to speak, how to express their ideas when the questions were spontaneously asked. So this was a problem. And as well, when I was observing my video lessons in breakout rooms, they mainly switch off their cameras and instead of speaking in English, they mainly use their own language. And even I said them, I don't any kind of demotivate you to speak in your own language, or I don't give some punishments towards you, like if you have some mistakes in your speaking, but they still continue to not talking because of this.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha. What motivated you to do this research?
Well, at first, this comes from my own like purposes and goals. One of the most important goal is to improve their speaking, because most of them mainly expressed that they want to continue their studies abroad. So, you know, when they talk to someone abroad, especially in English-speaking countries, they need to speak spontaneously and naturally. So in that case, when I looked at some list of my students' results in IELTS and SEFR exams, their speaking their speaking results were relatively lower than other skills, especially especially writing and other skills. So I found it quite very, very important problem in my teaching. So I decided to take this action plan and exploratory research.
Okay, thank you very much. Any question from the participant, please?
Okay, I'd like to ask a question. Most of you have focused on speaking skills, and I think most of you have learned English as a foreign language, and you're all very proficient speakers of English as a foreign language. So I wondered if, when you consulted your students about, you know, what was stopping them from speaking in class, if you were surprised by what they told you. Was it what you were expecting? Did it reflect your own journey as learners of English? For Marina or Samanda, who spoke about anxiety.
Marina, do you want to talk?
No, Samanda, you may.
Okay, when it comes to speaking anxiety, I still feel some anxiety, especially when someone's knowledge in English is higher than me. Because I observed that some people try to give feedback immediately if you pronounce some words incorrectly. So I still feel anxieties. I still have speaking anxiety, but I think speaking anxiety cannot be removed fully. I think it can be reduced, especially in foreign language learning. So, as a teacher, our purpose is to reduce their speaking anxiety when they are using English or other foreign languages.
Yeah.
May I add?
Yeah, please.
So, in my case, I have noticed that when I try to pay attention to the anxiety during the classes, so somehow my students, they start thinking whether it's normal, like, and how to cope with these feelings, emotional feelings. But when I try to show them that that when you are speaking, you are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to speak the way you feel comfortable. But the only thing that is really important is just try to keep the clear idea that you want to deliver other people. And when they focus on the idea that they need to, that their main focus is just to communicate, to speak clearly so that other person can understand, they can interact. So their anxiety increases, but because they no longer pay attention to the mistakes, they correct them over time. So, and definitely my own experience of speaking plays a crucial role, because sometimes even now, like, I feel anxiety when I speak to in English. So, but I try to admit that it is something natural. So we just cannot fight with it. We cannot avoid it. So just by forcing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Samantha, and then Marina, and thank you for the question as well, Anna. Yeah, it is the natural thing that getting anxious for the thing which we don't know, and then it's unknown for us. So as much as the teacher provide the comfortable environment, it will be very helpful for the student to reduce their anxiety. Okay, for Samantha, there is a question Samira has asked in the chat. Do you think pre-sessional English courses are more effective than IELTS classes?
Well, actually, I don't have any kind of experience when it comes to pre-sessional English courses. I think it's mainly common in English-speaking countries, especially UK, right? So perhaps it depends on the classroom environment. If the teacher successfully implements all kind of resources to improve students' language abilities, it will be helpful in both cases, I think.
Okay, thank you. Jing, are you there? Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Could you share us about the challenges during this EAR research? Did you find any challenges there during the process?
You mean the research or the implementation?
For the research or implementation throughout the process, did you find any challenges?
Since I'm currently still studying, so I haven't been able to really implement the action. But for the research, I think the challenge is I wouldn't say it's challenge. I would say it's really actually quite rewarding to actually talk to my students. I think the insights I gain from my students may even more insightful than those conversations with my colleagues, because they after all, they are the center of our teaching, so we really need to what they are thinking about. I think what they provided is really helpful for me to really design lessons that is suitable for their needs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very positive comment. Instead of saying challenges, you felt that this is rewarding. That's really good.
Right.
That's encourage other researchers as well. Like, why not trying exploratory action research? Yeah, that's good. Any other question from any participant?
Yeah, no, I had a question for Samantha, and it was just to pick up on something that Marina said about the importance of having something to say and knowing something about the content. And Samantha, I was wondering, with your IELTS teaching and the subjects that students are asked to speak about, whether they always do have enough content there. So where does the anxiety come from? Does it come from a lack of that they'd never thought about these issues before that they have to talk about, or is it linguistic, or is it both? I'm just wondering about your experience with that.
In my own experience, I think both of them contribute equally, because from one side, when students are not familiar with the topic, or when they don't have enough vocabulary to speak in this topic, they also still struggle to speak spontaneously. And in another case, even in familiar topics, they still struggle. Some of them, they still struggle because of anxiety and fear of judgments by teacher and other students at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I agree. I think this also has something to do with the difference between in-sessional and IELTS teaching, that with IELTS, any subject can be thrown at them, whereas with in-sessional teaching, what you have generally is the speaking activities are based around some research that the students have done. So the content is there, and the content is something that they've created, which is a huge advantage, and obviously a big advantage for them going on to study as well. And IELTS seems often this very artificial environment where they're asked to talk about something that they've never thought about before and they will probably never speak about again in their lives. Yeah, thank you, Samantha.
I'm so sorry that I may not pronounce your name.
Bernard.
Bernard, yeah, please, if you have any question, please, over to you. We couldn't hear you.
I'd just like to add to what Miriam said a couple of moments ago about, meeting content that you have never met before. I took IELTS, I think that was some months ago, and the most difficult thing about it was the fact that they ask you some questions that you have to think critically, but you have less time to think, and that can actually affect the proficiency of the student. It's not like they don't know how to speak properly, but the time frame they give them to put together those ideas and then express them is actually quite short. So that's just what I wanted to contribute.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other would like to say anything? Yeah, Padma, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to share my own experience over here as I heard about speaking activities and anxiety about speaking in IELTS and all. A couple of years ago, like while taking my TOEFL exam, in my own experience, what I observed is you don't find time for the speaking activity. Whereas I have got good marks in writing, as Samantha has said. Usually the participants will lose marks in speaking because of it is not that they don't have the ability, but the thing is they don't get time to express immediately in some cases. So I just want to ask Samantha that did he observe that in his participants or in his whoever on the research action plan has been conducted, and did he address that issue in his action plan?
Okay. Thank you, Padma.
Thank you for your question. I haven't implemented yet because those students had already their certificate right now. So right now I'm working in another organization, which is not about teaching. It's about governmental work. So from September, in my online classes, I'm planning to implement this action plan if my students still struggle to speak spontaneously. So I think then I can give information about the results of this action plan.
Okay.
Okay.
There is a question from Alpha. He is thanking everyone for the contribution and your presentation. The question is, I think Ngo Ngué Elodie hasn't answered it, so could you please answer? How long it took you to get your final findings, and are you thinking of doing more work on your topic? Please.
Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, I was able to conduct the action part, and I actually implemented step by step, not like just right after making the action plan. So first I started with personalizations and warm-up activities, and in the third week I also started to use some other parts of my action plan. And I think it's really important to implement it step by step, as long as in order not to make your students feel pressure, or let's say, and I think it can be a bit workload for you as well as a teacher. And I think an evaluation is also important, and it will be much more easier if you implement your action plan step by step.
Okay, so you are planning to work more on the topic then.
Uh, yeah, I actually I'm really satisfied with my action plan because it really worked, and now I see my students feel less anxious. It really worked, and whenever they felt that they are speaking confidently, even they told me that, did you do something, or let's say what kind of changes are you doing? And they started to write some anonymous, let's say, messages to me. Sometimes they, after the class, they told me that they improved, and they're starting to speak English with some other, let's say, international, some other colleagues who come from other countries, and it really made me happy. So I'm going to do some more research on maybe speaking anxiety. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay. Somjana Rai has a question to Jing. How would you describe the students' writing performance? Given the lack of formal speaking assessment, how were you able to determine the discrepancy between their oral and written proficiency after your intervention? The question is there in the chat. Jing, over to you.
I thank you for your question. I've seen it. Well, as I've mentioned, I haven't been able to implement the intervention, but I think for my students, since writing is part of the exam, so they actually spend a lot of time on writing practice. And I think the main difference between writing and speaking is that they don't actually have the time for processing the questions and organize their language when they're speaking, but they have plenty of time to structure and think of words and expressions for that. I think their writing skill is better than their speaking skill. I hope I've answered your question.
In that case, so how will you be able to determine, like in the future after your intervention, since there's not going to be any speaking assessment? So how are you planning to then measure whether you have filled the gap, or do you have any plans?
In my action plan, I didn't mention about the assessment of the speaking, but I think when I'm actually implementing, including speaking practice, I'll have some assessment, informal assessment, maybe regularly in my class. I know it's not part of the formal assessment, the college entrance examination, but still I think it's necessary to include it as part of the learning process because it can give me feedback, and also the results might also motivate students. But about the details, how I'm going to implement, I haven't actually thought about it.
And last question to you, Jing. So how did the students take it? I mean, yes, you did talk about the anxiety and all, but because they don't have to do it for the exam, and because you said it's totally exam oriented. So how did they start? Were they actively participating in, yes, I just wanted to know students' perspective as well.
And I hope you understand, I haven't been able to implement this, but I'm pretty confident that from my conversation with my former students, so they actually shared what their Chinese teacher did in their class. So it's their native language, but English is a second language, but still I think it's the same philosophy will apply. So what she shared with me about how they had their Chinese lesson is that it's the same context and exam oriented, but for only 30 to 40% of the time they are doing exam related study, and for the other time they are spending a lot of time doing drama and singing, dancing, and speaking, having speeches, and students actually enjoy those activities, and because I think it's enjoyable, and also it reflects the authentic use of language. So actually students are making progress, not very quickly, but after maybe a year or a year and a half, they are actually making progress. Initially, students have doubts about that because those are not tested, but after a long term, they will see that they have progress, and also most importantly are enjoying this. And also I think this is important not only because they can benefit their exam performance, but it can actually have really significant impact on their long-term development. Maybe the way they express themselves and the confidence they developed gradually. I think those are really key, essential things for students. I hope it's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, Samjana has said thank you for the answer. Yeah, thank you very much. Is there anything, any question, any comment anyone would like to make? If not, is there Ngo Ngué Elodie Gaelle here?
Yeah, I'm present.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry that if I mispronounce your name. Yeah. So you are the mentor, yeah? Next session you are running, yeah?
Okay.
Have you got your teachers here? The mentor?
Yeah, he's there. That was Bernard.
Oh, okay. So you have one, okay. And Gopal Chand is here. Maybe they are joining because the time will start later. This is the third session. And Dr. Hoda Chini. Dr. Hoda, are you here?
She hadn't filled in anything on the program either, so I don't think she'll be here.
Okay. So so do we wait Gopal Chand, or let's start, I think, Anna. Yeah?
Yes, it's up to you.
Yeah, because
obviously.
yeah, we have Elodie and then her mentee as well. So by the time maybe Gopal will join us. Yeah. And we can have the discussion as well. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for your patience. And then also thank you very much, Miriam. I'm so happy to see you. My lecturer when I was doing my MA-TEFL in Warwick University.
Yeah, no, it's very nice to see you too. Yeah, well done with the conference. And we miss you at Warwick.
Yeah. I want to come and then see you all once. Richard was saying that, why don't you come? Yeah, I'm in Coventry now, so yeah.
Oh, you should come in and say hello.
Yeah. I'll come one day. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything, Miriam, for the...
I could say a little bit about the way that the module has been run and the way that that Richard set it up really as being a collaborative process, and that being that the teachers support each other a lot. So they support each other in doing a bit of coaching in those initial stages where they find out what they want their focus to be, and they work on their research questions, and then later they use their colleagues as well to gather some data to find out the interventions that they might put in place. And I think for me, that's a real bonus, and I appreciate that we're all in the same classroom and that they're all drawing on their knowledge so much, especially after the sort of pandemic, and to be in a classroom where you've got a situation, and it's a bit like it reflects a staff room really in a school, where you've had an experience teaching and you come into the staff room and you get to talk to a colleague about what you've just experienced, and then the colleague empathizes with you and either takes the approach of doing a bit of mentoring or coaching or maybe giving some advice. And to see the teachers do that in the classroom, I think is really important. And I hope that they take that forward. And we're kind of working against things sometimes where we don't always have spaces like staff rooms anymore where teachers can meet. And I think that's so important. And what we tried to do as well on the module is not just make it a collaborative process in terms of we're all in the same classroom, but have this shared document where they note down their ideas in a written form on a shared document, so they all learn from each other as well. And that we don't make that explicit on the MAs on the module. It's there as a shared document, and we hope that they're reading each other's areas of interest and comment and their research focus and their research questions and how they're tackling it and how they're doing their research. And we hope that they're reading each other's. And I think, again, that is really important, that they can learn from each other, and it's all about supporting each other as teachers because they've all got experience. One thing that I think we might be able to do on the module is ask teachers to comment on each other's input in that document. And I don't know whether I could ask the presenters who have just been, whether they would think that's something that they would have done if we'd said to you, say, Uglo, if we'd have said to you, please comment on other people's input on that document, would you have found that useful and done that, do you think? It's a bit of a loaded question, but I don't know if you've got time for that, really.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, so that might have been useful for you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's some a bit of information about how it's run. Thank you, Uglo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mariam. Thank you very much, all the presenters, for your time and for your presentation. Now, the same thing, the same structure, the presenter will present and then we'll have question answer session afterwards. So I'd like to welcome Ngo Ngué Elodie Gaelle for the mentor to introduce herself and then her mentee and then present the research. Over to you, Elodie.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon from Cameroon. I am Ngo Ngué Gaelle. I am an IATEFL teacher, and it is my pleasure to introduce Mbache Bernard, who is my mentee. He's been teaching for about 4 to 5 years now. Please, could you make me a co-host so that I'll be able to share my screen, please?
Yeah, okay, just a second. Anna? Yeah, your co-host.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so as I was saying, Mbache Bernard is, okay, can you see the screen now? Is it visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, perfect. So he's been teaching for 4 to 5 years, specifically in private schools. And the specificity he has in his classes, which is year 13, is that he's been working with adults. So the essential of his studies about exploring the responsible use of AI and social media to enhance English language performance. Why? Because since most of the students are adults, they are quite familiar with AI and social media. So he deemed it wise to explore that tool with them. So if you don't mind, I'll leave the floor to Bernard. Bernard, if you're there, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to present on my topic, which is exploring the responsible use of AI and social media to enhance English language performance. As a teacher of English language and literature to year 13 students, I came to realize that most of my students were very current with the things that were happening on social media. When you get to ask them some basic questions in English language, they find it difficult to respond to them. And I felt like maybe I could use the social media as a vector through which they could learn and improve their English language. And so I developed, in fact, we developed two research questions. The first one is, how can students leverage social media as an effective medium for learning English? And the second, how can students synergistically combine AI tools and social media to create a more effective learning model? because they too are current as far as AI is concerned, because they use it quite a lot, and I felt like there was a need to combine social media and AI. And so the methodology, as far as methodology is concerned, I had a total of 13 students. These students were upper six students, like Elodie earlier said, 13 students, and they were made up of regular secondary school students and the evening school students, what you're going to call the adult school here in Yaoundé, Cameroon. And the findings were quite interesting. Their favorite social media platform was TikTok, which came as a surprise to me because what is more popular over here is Facebook. But then they had their different reasons for choosing TikTok, and they said in order to use TikTok strategically, to enhance their English language, the first thing you need to do is to choose a niche early to personalize the feed, and then the second is that you have to follow, educational English language accounts, and the third is you have to be actively engaged, on the platform in order to condition the algorithm to keep on to update your feed with what exactly you want to learn about. And then the second social media platform that we talked about was Instagram. And they said that the value of Instagram, it depends on the kinds of accounts that you get to follow. It is not actually like TikTok, because TikTok and Instagram are they're actually different. And then they equally said you have the ability to interact with the owners of those accounts, because you can get to them. In fact, they are kind of like informal teachers. If there's something that you can't understand, you can write to them directly, and then they actually get to clarify you. And then the third platform that I talked about was YouTube, where YouTube is a little bit different, because the kind of questions that you ask or what you demand on YouTube then automatically updates the feed of YouTube, and you keep on, you get to meet information regarding what you actually want to get on the platform. For example, if you ask a question, you constantly ask questions about English language on YouTube, or you constantly, search English language lessons on YouTube, before you know it, the feed is updated such that when you get in, you just get to find English lessons and the rest. And then finally, like I said, we had to look at how they could combine social media and the AI together. And the students said they can actually, the prompts that they generate on AI, and the information that they get on AI, they can then reinforce their learning. The information that they get from it, they can reinforce their learning by getting to YouTube and watching some videos in order to reinforce their learning. Or when you watch a YouTube video, or let's say a video on TikTok or Instagram, you can then get back to AI for clarifications. And so, in order to conclude, it is believed, I believe that thoughtful combination of AI and social media, sorry about that. Thoughtful combination of AI and social media could create a powerful self-directed learning model for modern students. In the digital age, learners succeed through intentional strategic use of media and AI for language learning and academic growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
Okay. Thank you, Elodie, and thank you, Bernard, as well. We have some time for the question answer now. Okay. Before that, I'd like to inform everyone that I have shared the link of all the posters, and then also for your attendance, there is a link you have to click and then fill out the information. And also there is one request for you to provide the feedback, and then for the feedback as well, I have shared the link. And at last, you have a link for certificate as well. Please fill out that one as well. Okay. So please scroll up and all the links are there. Anyone would like to ask the question? Please go ahead to Bernard. Or you can type in the chat box. I will read out that.
Can I ask the question?
Yes, Anna.
Okay. How can you sort of guarantee or ensure that your students or your learners are using AI tools or those platforms responsibly, as under 18?
Okay. Yes. The students, first, when I started the research, and I included some students that is from 16 to 30. That was the age range. But later on, I realized that there might be ethical issues because we did not have adults. In fact, we had some minors. We had some minors alongside adults, and so I decided to increase the age range from 18, and above. Unfortunately, in order not to make it difficult for me to carry out the research. But I'm still thinking of ways, because another way might be to get to their parents, such that their parents are around them while they're using the phone. If they cannot actually have some parameters on the phone that could actually limit, could actually help them use it responsibly. And so that is it.
I mean, I removed TikTok from my phone because I found it so addictive. And I thought, rather than having it and trying to use it responsibly, I would just get rid of it. And instead, I'm addicted to Instagram. But it can be you can sort of be distracted. It's easy to be distracted from your reason for using it, if you see what I mean. So I wondered with with under 18 young adults, how if it might be difficult. Anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other would like to ask any question? My question is, Bernard, have you found that when you said AI and social media is giving for the student to use for enhancing their performance, do they misuse that, or do they genuinely use for the learning purpose?
Yes, so the issue is that they actually misuse it. When they get to social media, it is a place for them to find some pleasure. When during their leisure time, just get to enjoy. But I think since they are more, since they get to these platforms more, these social media platforms more, it actually serves as a leverage where we can use it to help the students study better, because some of them know the platforms more than we do. And if you think about it, they love the platform. And if they get to learn from those platforms, you never know, they can actually get, monumental results. And it is true that they use it irresponsibly. Like some time ago, you give them an assignment and the student simply gets home, you know, just generates a prompt on AI, gets the responses and gets back to class. And you kind of like feel there's absolutely nothing learned. And I remember last year, I had to discuss with some students on how they could use this AI, responsibly, in such a way that they do not just see AI as a ground where they simply just go and extract knowledge without learning from it and then simply give it back to the teacher. I told them that when you go to a place like, I'm happy that they actually use AI. You cannot stop them because the world is moving at a very rapid pace, and I'm happy that they're actually following some of these trends. And so, if they manage to get information from AI, they could read and extract some valuable things. It's not everything that you get from AI that is actually correct, because sometimes AI misses the context, and so they have to read what they get from AI and then filter the information that they need, such that when they write, it suits their context or the context of the classroom. So these are some of the things that I get to tell the students why we actually go along.
Yeah, it is still more work for the teachers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any question from the participants, please? If there is not, then your overall experience of your research. Oh, yeah, there is a question. Yeah. Could you please go ahead?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
How are you all today? It's been a wonderful conference, juggling so many activities at the same time simultaneously. So I wanted to ask Bernard, considering that social media is vast, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook are entirely different social media platforms, and it's a bit vast. How is he able to, like, how are you, Mr. Bernard? I hope I believe you're listening. Like, how are you able to manage your students' interests? Because you're saying AI, and then we had social media. How are you able to manage all of these things with your students effectively without having to, like, be so hyperfixated upon a particular social media platform? So social media and AI seem very diametrically, opposite. So I would like to understand, how you're able to manage AI and the social media accounts, the platforms and all of that, in.
Okay. Just like I mentioned, during my presentation, the plan is that really, in my mind, the implementation plan, I have about 2 months with them, and I intend to do what they call social media immersion. Because for you to learn any language, I think the best way of learning a language is by immersing yourself in that particular language. And so we are going to use what they call the social media immersion, whereby we are going to choose some particular platforms because it's a bit difficult to use all those platforms. And so we are going to choose about 2 social media platforms. And when we use these 2 social media platforms, we are going to create kind of like new accounts, and then they follow, the language accounts where they can listen to native speakers directly. They can also, lessons about, let's say, tenses, grammatical elements. They can learn from those accounts, and then from there, if there are things that they don't understand and they can't reach out to the experts of those accounts directly, they can actually go to AI and verify as well. So that is how I just intend to manage it for now. But then by the time I get to the action phase, I think I'll kind of like tailor it more and more to suit what I actually want. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you for having explained, Mr. Bernard. But I believe you and I are going to have to, discuss this even further, because I also have issues, with social media with my kids, and it's a lot, especially with teenagers. I deal with teenagers, and it's also a lot, to handle all of that, encompass it. So thank you for having responded. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for the question and then for the answer, Bernard. Any other would like to ask any question about AI and then social media used to enhance English language performance? So finally, would you like to say anything about your journey of researcher, Bernard?
Okay. I think it's been very, very interesting, and I actually love, teacher research. I really, in fact, genuinely, I love it. Why? Because the space, the way we carry out research here, I feel like teacher research offers a more liberal space compared to other researching environments where you have to deal with a lot of rigor before you get your paper published. But I find it easier, and we are dealing with the students directly. It is not something superficial. You can see the results immediately as you try to implement some of these things. And so, and I think, and also it has really helped my relationship, with my students. Because at first I used to see students like they were kind of like empty vessels and they want to fill them. But with teacher research, I get to communicate with these students, get their feedback. For example, like what I presented, this feedback came from the students. If you do give them the chance, to express themselves, they have knowledge. I mean, they have knowledge buried, instilled knowledge within them that can actually help us solve some of the classroom problems that we have. And so I really find teacher research, very, very interesting. And also I'm equally exploring, other grounds, in relation to AI, whereby I feel like AI really lacks context. AI kind of like, even though yes, there are new models coming up, the AI suits more of the Western world, because when you ask a question, let's say on AI, you kind of like get maybe the names are more of Western names, examples with Western names. We want it to be more contextualized and stuff like that. And so that is about decoloniality. So it's something that I'm, thinking of working on as far as research is concerned, apart from teacher research here.
Okay. Thank you very much for the very beautiful words. Yeah. It's for direction research or teacher research is for teachers. Yeah, it's not like academic research, and you can see so many benefit of doing teacher research. Thank you for your encouraging words, Bernard. So thank you, Elodie, and thank you, Bernard, both mentor and then mentee. Now we have another mentor, but I don't see him here. Anna, did you see?
I don't think Gopal. No, it's Gopal Chand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think he didn't complete. There's no abstract for the mentee in the program, so I don't think.
So the next one as well, yeah. Dr. Hauda Chini also not present. So what we are supposed to do then? After the session, after this session, there will be break for you until 2:45 UK time. Yeah. So 2:45, it means 1 hour. Yeah. So if you'd like to join other rooms, the session is going on there. Yeah. For room 1, you are supposed to come at 2:45. Yeah. Anything
I can
else?
see some of my mentees. So just to clear up that the times are UK times, and that their session will start in an hour's time.
Okay. Or that everything will be as it is. You can see the time schedule there. But here in room 1, session 2, session C, the mentors are unavailable here. So that's the reason why we had to complete it now. And then you have 1 hour to join room 1. Okay. Any question about the schedule, anything? And also I'd like to request you to provide the feedback, fill out the attendance form, and by the end of today, you have to fill the certificate link as well. Yeah. And
Okay. So we are going to start the session. This is a 2A session now in room number 1. And thank you all for joining this. And we are going to have 6 mentees, 6 presenters presenting in this session. Teachers from Nigeria and Cameroon, all mentored by Ana García Stone, who is the mentor. And very happy to invite Ana García to guide them to to present. And if I may just add a sentence or two, I also realize Ana has worked in India, and
yes.
Yes. I didn't know this, but she's a a very renowned teacher, educator, researcher, and also believes in developing communities of practice. So I'm very happy to be introducing.
Okay, thank you.
She has worked in many countries, in Spain, Scotland, Portugal, India, and Vietnam. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are. Egypt as well.
Oh, Egypt as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So without losing any time now, I request you to take over and introduce the speakers and have the session. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, hello everyone, and it's with huge pleasure that I'm going to introduce this afternoon's this group of mentees. 5 of them are from Nigeria, and one, Nelvis, is from Cameroon. The 5 Nigerian teachers all belong to ELTAN, which is the English Language Teacher Association of Nigeria. Nelvis belongs to CAMELTA, which is the group in Cameroon. They've all taken part in a teacher research webinar series, which was organized by Dr. Eric Ekembe from Yaoundé University. So we've been having online webinars for the last two months and a bit. And then I've had the pleasure of mentoring these teachers individually. So I'll be sharing your posters. You all have around 3 minutes to speak, and then you'll be taking questions, okay? So the first person to speak is, I'm going to call him Osondu. I will allow him to say his full name. And I'm going to share. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So please, you can start. Please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Osondu Olanyachi Uchechukwu, and I am a teacher, more like a community teacher, because I teach in a multicultural state in Nigeria. So my kids are grade 11, and they are teenagers, so lots of things are expected from them. So the challenges I faced were particularly English phonology, as it had to do with, the segmental and suprasegmental features of English, particularly to sounds. So many of these kids come from different, linguistic backgrounds, and they tend to have, they tend to have issues, especially as it regards, English sounds. Many of them were not so keen on learning. They seemed, some persons seemed intimidated. So all of these, issues led to me, carrying out this research. So my research questions are, as it is seen in this document, are: why do students appear reluctant or resistant to learning English phonology? How do students' emotional responses affect classroom management? How do phonology lessons and accent, affect their accent and identity? So I carried out my methodologies with the use of questionnaires. I asked questions with the children. That was how my data was generated. So I was able to find out from the students that the reasons why they were as they are in my class, or how they did not in how they didn't perform very well, is because of some persons were shy, others were not, did not find English sounds easy and all of that. However, the students, advised from their suggestions, they mentioned that what I can do is to engage them in practical lessons. They enjoyed my practical lessons, my fun activities, and all of the exercise that I give them. And many of them did not want homework. So I believe that, with all of the challenges that arose from English phonology and with my findings, and with all I've implemented so far, because I've been able to engage them in fun, I increased, fun activities in our classrooms. I asked questions. I introduced the activities they wanted me to do in different occasions. And it happened that many of the kids were more interested even more, it became more efficient for me. So I also will continue implementing this program even next term, being third term. And I believe that I'm going to get more responses. They're going to be more better at, are going to be more better in in my classes, and will pass the exams, because at the end of the day they have to write the exams, and I would want for them to pass. Thank you.
Thanks, and well done. You were within the 3 minutes, so well, good for you. A very interesting topic because it is also related to cultural identity, this idea of pronunciation. Okay, so next is Chidinma, who has a photograph of her classroom included in her poster, so which I really like seeing. So I'm going to share. Ah, no, yeah. Is her poster visible?
No. Yes, it's visible.
Okay, sorry, I made it too big. So Chidinma, please start when you want, when you like. There we are.
Okay. Good day, everyone. I'm Emanga Chidinma Esther. I'm an ESL teacher from Nigeria. I teach 11th grade ESL students who are aged 15 to 17 years. They are in science class in this community senior secondary school in Rivers State, Nigeria. The challenge I have, my classroom challenge, my students struggle with essay writing assignments. While some attempt to submit their work, others don't submit at all. Some resort to copying from their peers or the internet. So this research, I had 4 research questions. 1, what do my students think about essay writing? 2, what specific challenges do 11th grade ESL students face when writing English essays? 3, why do some students avoid writing essay assignments, choosing either to submit nothing or to copy others? Lastly, how might my current teaching influence my students' approach to essay writing? So the methodology, primarily qualitative, mixed methods approach to gather information. I had a whole class discussion. I also analyzed essays from a select targeted group of students who avoided or who copied. I also had one anonymous survey, 1 question anonymous survey to the entire class. About 76 students took part in that. Then I had confidential focus group interview with the targeted students. And then I had reflected on my teacher reflection journals. I reflected on my teaching. So the findings, I discovered that the avoidance was linked to perceived skill gaps. This indicates lack of confidence, not poor ability. I also discovered that students understood the essay topics, the structure, but they struggled with grammar and spelling, and that made the writing stressful. Students copied to generate ideas, and also to reduce writing pressure. I also discovered that my teaching practice revealed a lot. As I criticized it, I discovered that while I actually emphasize on structure, writing mechanics was neglected, and there's lots of class distraction in my class. So I intended to implement certain solutions. I'm going to also need the students' support. Together, we'll get this implemented. To address the problem, I will emphasize regular grammar and spelling practice. I will strengthen classroom discipline. I will provide private student support to boost confidence and engagement. So, but this, in conclusion, this intervention plan is intended to take full effect from next term because schools are about to close in my section. Thank you.
Thank you, Chidinma. I think it's also worth saying that that class is around 100 students, 100, 110. So well done. Okay, so next, Dr. Liliane. Are you here? I know you are. Yes, you are here. I can see you. Okay, so I'm going to share your poster. Oh, hang on. Okay.
They're showing right now.
All right, thank you. Can you see the poster? Yes. All
Good,
right. Thank you.
everyone.
Okay, when you're ready. Thank you.
Good, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm Lilian Wabian-Maxolakani. My classroom research focuses on enhancing students' note-taking interest in cloud-read classrooms, a classroom-based exploratory study. In my Nigerian context, we have issues in students that are found in cloud-read classrooms taking notes when teachers give them notes. In some other countries, this may not be an issue. But here in a country where it is mandatory for you to give students notes after teaching, we face a challenge of seeing the students finding it difficult to copy notes when it is time to copy notes. This study was conducted among secondary school students in a highly populated classroom at Community Secondary School, Alakaya, precisely Port Harcourt, where the class size exceeded 100 students. These students were typical public secondary school learners studying in an overcrowded learning environment. The context that led to this research was a persistent challenge of overcrowded classrooms in many Nigerian public schools, and in particular the schools I've taught, and then more precisely the very present one that I found myself in. In this environment, teachers often struggle to maintain students' attention and ensure effective learning. During lessons, we discovered that many students showed little interest in copying notes. They depended heavily on supervision and were generally passive, which negatively affected their learning outcomes. From that situation, the study asked certain questions, and one of it is what factors contribute to students' low interest in note taking in overcrowded classrooms? Also, I asked the question, how can classroom teaching strategies improve students from my own part as a teacher? So how can classroom teaching strategies improve students' engagement in note-taking despite the large class size that I have? Using a classroom-based exploratory approach, I employed observation, informal discussions, and monitoring of students' learning behavior during lessons. I also had some chats with some professionals like me, the principal, and other teachers informally. The findings revealed that students' low interest in note-taking was largely caused by overcrowding, noise, poor visibility of the board, and the pace of teaching. Evidence from questionnaires, classroom observation, and discussions also showed that many students wrote notes only when closely supervised by me, their teacher, even as I've observed with other teachers in the class. So to address this problem, several instructional strategies were implemented by me. This included presenting shorter notes on the board, dividing the board into clear sections, using charts and flashcards, encouraging pair work for summarizing notes, rewarding active notes takers. I was so much interested in this area. The first to finish, I buy something for them, maybe ice cream, biscuit, whatever that is nearby at that moment. And I really discovered that it challenged the students and it encouraged them to start copying notes even without my supervision. And also promoting peer support where students compare their notes for accuracy and completeness. The outcomes were very encouraging. There was increased classroom attentiveness, more active participation, greater willingness among students to write notes during lessons, improved independence in note-taking, and overall better classroom engagement. In conclusion, I would say that the study demonstrates that although overcrowding affects students' learning behavior, effective teacher-guided strategies that I have employed in the study can significantly improve students' note-taking habits and classroom participation, and other teachers can adopt these strategies that I adopted in this research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lilian. I admire your energy.
Thank you, Professor Anna.
All right.
Just try to be the 3 minutes.
Yeah, you were 4 minutes, but that's okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Okay, so next is Boma. I can see you're there, Boma. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Boma. Okay, great. I'll share your poster then.
Okay, thank you.
So please start when you're ready, Boma.
My name is Boma Karibo, and I'm investigating strategies to engage learners' interest in large classrooms in the south of Nigeria. So I teach in a polytechnic in a semi-urban town, but my students come from far and near around the south of Nigeria. It's a multilingual setting. It's a low-resource environment. My classroom is packed tightly full. Getting my students to focus on the lesson all the time during class was a challenge. But I turned this challenge into a research. And I posed the questions. Why are my students not gainfully engaged during my classes? Number two, what strategies can I employ to involve all of my students during class? My research objectives are to identify reasons why my students do not engage well with my classes, with my lessons, and to investigate strategies to engage them better in such settings, in such a large classroom. So I served the focus group a questionnaire of closed and open-ended questions. My findings were that these students are really interested, because that was one of my fears. I thought they were not interested in the lessons. They were very well interested in learning English and my lessons. I thought they still were going around with that attitude of, oh, this English, is it not imperialistic and all that and all that? Is it my mother tongue? No, but they were very well interested in the lessons. And, but because of their seatmates, they actually accepted that they were negatively influenced during class. So when I asked if they would want to, change their seatmates, if they would want to be moved away from, they objected to that. They didn't accept it. So I did my intervention. I didn't take to what they were saying. Sorry to say that. I did it in a friendly manner. And they were happy for it. So my intervention was to rearrange the seating design in the class. I moved my target students to mix them up with other students, and who were really very serious in class. And then I became really intentional in relating personally with my target students in class. I started hanging around them more often during lessons. And then I called for lesson summaries after class, at different stages of class, actually. And guess who I'd be calling on? My target students to do this mini teaching, this mini teaching. And armed with a list of their names, I award scores freely for good summaries given. Now my class is one whole one, with students very well focused on the lesson and class activities, and not anymore on their private chats, whether on their phones or amongst themselves. And then for me, I am more confident and fulfilled that my lessons are getting impactful, and I am happy about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Boma. Fantastic results. Good way to feel when you've done classroom research, to be able to feel that way. So thank you. Okay, so next is our first teacher from Nigeria, Adebisi, if you're ready. Hello.
Hello, I'm obviously ready.
Hello. Okay, I'll share your poster.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right,
So
it's showing now.
It is. You can see it?
Yes, I can.
Yes, okay, good. So please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I am Adebisi Victoria Ogunleye, and I happen to work, I'm a teacher who works in private school. Unlike others who have large crowd, I have manageable size of student, but my challenge is that they write essays and the quality of the essay is below the standard of what WAEC, that's the West African Examination Council, requires. And in private schools, we get to give results of outcome to parents. Specifically, they come to make complaints of certain issues because they expect to get reward for what they pay for. So that led into investigating factors that hinder English language essay quality among first-year senior secondary school students in my school, Goshen Spring Model Academy in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. These children are, like I said, are private school students within the ages of 12 to 14. And they have been very, very, very familiarized with English language. But I get to keep wondering why such students wouldn't write good quality essays. Because essay is something you must give in every English class you take. So I proceeded into objective to find out what prevents my students from writing quality essays, then to strategize ways to help my students write quality essays henceforth to get myself satisfied and be sure the result is given. On that note, I applied the method of giving the student different or varying essay topics to write, in which I read and marked to identify the errors that reduce the quality of their essay, and then see how to help improve on those errors. I also divided the students into 2 focus groups to ascertain as well as help tackle the errors in their essays, thereby improving the quality of their essay. I went further to distribute questionnaire to know what they think, if they enjoy writing at all, or they have problem writing essay, or what's the biggest challenge they have writing quality essay, or how freely they use the words, the right words or precise vocabulary to express their idea clearly, or how they feel when these essay assignments are given to them, since it's of a great concern to me. I also wanted to know if they write using tools, or they just write on their own, or there are certain things they get to consult while writing essay. And then in my finding, I discovered that the students actually enjoy writing of any kind, although some of them have difficulties with essay writing because of the fear of error in the tenses or grammatical construction generally. They have been writing different essay topics as class activities, class fun, and assignment. Yet, some of them still have issues with spelling errors, wrong use of tenses, and grammatical accuracy. They are not really affected by their mother tongue at all. But at some point, very few of them get to write pidgin English, which is a bad English in Nigeria, in their essays. Majority use and consult their dictionaries for correct spellings, and the internet or AI to enhance the use of the tenses and grammatical construction. During this process, I also found out that they are all bothered about these deficiencies and are eager to make adjustments. So I preferred solution by giving this classroom intervention. I have to introduce spelling drills. We do that every morning in class. And then spelling construction exercises. I detect notes now. I don't write on the board to see how to help them identify the errors of spellings. I have also encouraged and motivated the learners to consistently write essay to improve their writing quality, not just as assignments, but as fun. I give them different essay writing topics as fun activities, assignments to enhance productivity. In conclusion, I have discovered that they have willingness. They are all willing and committed to this assessment. And as they are writing by the day, I discover that there have been great improvement. And this really gives me joy because the quality of their essay have not just improved as we speak, but has become perfect and outstanding. This exam tells me that I'm going to get perfect results in their exam. I would like to say thank you to Professor Ana García Stone for good job of mentoring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adebisi. Okay, so last but not least, from Cameroon, Nelvis, who is actually in Germany. She's won a scholarship and she's studying there for 6 months. So because she's in Germany, she has good connectivity. Okay, Nelvis, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, good.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adekisop Nelvis. I am a teacher of English language and literature. This is my second year of presenting at the IATEFL conference because I believe IATEFL have this way of encouraging teachers in teacher research where you have to like face your challenges and seek for solutions to actually solve these problems that you face in classroom. So for this year, I have as a problem, my students have this they have this problem of always mixing up upper and lower cases. So this is a class of 21 students, 14 girls and 7 boys. So they have this problem of always mixing up upper and lower cases. So my problem was, the question I was asking myself was why are these students faced with this problem, and how do they actually see this problem? Are they actually aware that this problem is recurrent in their writings? So as a methodology, I used qualitative and quantitative analysis of data. I collected student writing composition, and I actually had to like go through them. I discussed with some colleagues to see if this problem was recurrent in their own lessons. And I had some personal discussion with some students that I found that they had their problem was quite alarming than the others. So as findings, I realized that the majority of the students were not even aware that they had this problem in their essays. And 4 students out of the 21 students, they asked me what was the essence of capitalization, punctuation to them. The major problem was communication. So if they could communicate, so we could just go along. So I had 18 out of the 21 did not understand actually the use of punctuation marks. So we had to
Oh, that's strange. Nelvis, we can't hear you anymore. And there was I saying that she's in Germany, so her connectivity is good. Famous last words. It's my fault.
She's left, I think.
Has she dropped out? Oh
I
dear.
see her.
I think you might be right.
Oh, maybe what we could
She's
do
in,
to look at
yeah.
her poster and you message her to come back.
Yes, no, she must be upset that she's been dropped out of the room.
No, if you can see her, yeah. So
Yes, because yeah.
we can all read it.
She was talking about her findings, and so
That's right.
this was what she implemented.
Yeah.
So interactive games.
Mm.
And then they clearly did some peer kind of correction.
Mm.
So they wrote short paragraphs to exchange and marked orally.
Yeah.
And then significant increase in regards to punctuation.
Mm.
And then the use of games as well as class.
Edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Practice tolerance and practice tolerance and patience, which I think is probably something all teachers have to learn to do. Okay. Yes, there's clearly a problem with punctuation. Okay. So, well, I'm sure Nelvis will join us again once she works out what's happened with the internet. Oh, here she is.
Ah, okay. Good.
Nelvis, you were kicked out.
Where is she?
well, I think we just carry on.
She has come in.
She has come in, but she must be having problems connecting, yeah.
No, she's joined, all right.
Yes, but she hasn't spoken.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, can you get me now?
Okay, there you are. And then I was saying in Germany you wouldn't have connectivity issues. The ways of the world. Okay, would you like to just go over your last two things on your presentation?
Okay, as I said, my findings, I realized that they they were not aware of this problem, and they had difficulties in using punctuation marks, and they had actually, most of them actually did not actually had master the certain rules in sentence formation. So we had to work on that. As implementation, I use fun activities, like we use punctuation rally, where we have children divided into groups, and they had to to see the best group that search out for the good punctuation on the sentence. We have punctuation and detective, where they made use of editing and proofreading skills. So it was quite fun, and most of them actually adapted on punctuation skills and problems. And then at the conclusion, I saw a considerable increase in the punctuation usage, and I can just say it's quite a constant practice, constant fun games, because this was the practice that they had to carry on for long. So we had to work on that, and I'm very happy because most of them had there was a considerable changes in most of their writings. So thank you for listening. That was
Thanks,
all.
Nelvis. Thank you, Nelvis. So over to you, Rama, for the questions of
Yeah, okay.
questions and answers. Yeah.
Thank you all very much, Anna and the 6 presenters. A brilliant job, I must say, and very interesting, because you're all dealing with very large classes, except 1 or 2 exceptions, I think, and also quite senior students, senior as in older students than very young learners. Not very easy to handle those kinds of classes, but then your research is throwing light on many important aspects of English language teaching. So we can have questions now. We have all the 6 presenters here. So please go ahead and ask your question. You can put it in the chat box or ask the question orally, whichever way you like. And then and also say who you want to answer the question. All right. Any questions from anyone? Unmute yourself and ask the question. And even those who presented can ask the others the question, about others' presentations. should I begin the first question?
It might be good, yes.
I'm not going in any particular order. This is a question about the 11th grade, 110 students struggling with essay writing. Emina Chidinma, right? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to know what writing mechanics are. What did you do so that they started writing better essays? Because you focused on structure, you said, but not on mechanics earlier. But from the study, you found out that writing mechanics should be emphasized. So just tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, thank you very much. I said from my analysis of the students' essay, I discovered that they understood fully the structure. Their essays were well structured. There's the title, there's the introduction, developing paragraphs, conclusion, and it's all blended. It's all linked. It made sense. It was relevant. Their content is relevant to the topic. But in writing mechanics, where they lacked is that some of them they have spelling difficulties and the use of tense. So I intended that next term, because this term is almost over for us, we are closing in 2 weeks' time. My implementation will be fully implemented. My intervention strategies will be fully implemented next term. After this term, not now. I have not started implementing it.
Yeah, but what do you like to do with that? What exactly are you going to implement?
Okay, first, most topics I'm going to focus on topics that have to do teaching them sequence of tests because they need to understand the sequence of tense. Is going to help them to know what tense should come in sentences that have 2 or more parts, how the tenses in each part relate with each other. I also need to emphasize the use of the possessive apostrophe. From analysis of their essay, they lack the knowledge. So I'm going to teach them certain topics.
Okay. Thank you very much. If
that would
somebody else...
address their Hello?
Yeah. Can hear you.
Okay, I said, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
can
we
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I said that I'm going to introduce topics and we're going to drill them on topics that will address this deficiency. Topics like the use of the possessive apostrophe, topics like the sequence of tense, and other topics that would help them know how better to write, especially the tense, their choice of tense to use.
Okay.
We are going to do that mainly next term.
Yeah. Yeah, it's given you a clear focus for the next step. That's good. All right. Any other question to anyone else or to Chidinma?
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. My question is to Lily Ann.
Okay.
I want to ask her, did she have any challenge, difficulty when carrying out this her research? Any tough points when carrying out her research?
Is this question to Lillian?
Yes.
Okay. But note taking in a crowded classroom, right?
Yes.
Yes, one of the areas is when I talked about observation, entering a class, taking students unawares, the moment they see you, they try to behave themselves. And then at the very time I called out the few ones I called, like my first presentation, I said I had to seek for their permission. When I told them that I would like to interview them on a particular area that concerns our class, they asked me which area. I said, note taking. I've discovered that many of them don't like copying notes whenever I give them notes. Some of them shied away. Ma, I would like to talk, but I don't. They were stealing. I was going to punish them also. So I gave them time. It took me more than 2 weeks to convince some of these students. Not because they were afraid of me, no, but like one opened up finally. She said she felt that I was going to tell it to the principal, and then the principal is against them because they have seen a situation where they are able to open up their challenge, and then the teacher, in fact, even in their homes, their parents will use it against them, start talking about it. And so that was why they were not actually giving me that attention I needed. So it was a gradual process. That was actually the area that I had challenge. Bringing them together to ask them questions and then expect them to respond. It took time. But the moment they saw that my intentions were clear and for their own good, because I made them to understand that this is for your own good. I want a situation where if you tell me why you think you find it difficult to do this, I'll be able to help you. And so they were able to speak up. I don't know if I was able to attend to your question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, an excellent point. How do you get, what's the word, genuine evidence from a focus group, especially when there's a power imbalance, as there might be between a teacher and students? So that's an excellent point, Lillian.
Thank you very much, Professor Anna. I really appreciate you. You really mentored us very well. God bless you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Is your hand up, Chidinma?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I would like to ask Adekiso Nelvis. I find her topic interesting. I would like to ask her about the prompts that she used. Because
Sorry,
she's talking about what
who are you?
prompts did she use in her research?
Okay.
Adekiso Nelvis.
Yeah. Can you come again, please?
I would like to know the prompts you used in your research with the students.
Okay. I use, as I said, punctuation rallies. I used punctuation detective. I made use of, I didn't give them normal tests for classes. I gave, instead of normal tests, I gave them, actually, I gave them maybe a short paragraph, short story where they're supposed to like go through the punctuation marks, and then they will do it orally in class, and then they will mark it later. The first that has the best note. So in fact, it was a kind of competition and make them to work harder. So for the punctuation rally, I divided them into groups. So I made them to, so maybe this group is the first group that finishes the sentence faster goes to the next group. So it was a kind of entertaining and fun. So they find punctuation actually easier for them to understand, and they did not actually put it like a stress, because actually they were like finding punctuation very boring. And especially as I knew that they were in a class, in an examination class, so they had to like understand this very fast, because they had to write exams this year and the upper seat. So most of them had to write the GCE this year. So it was kind of a rush in all the classes, because we had to like make them to really understand it, and in a fun way for them to really master it for their exams. So those are the different prompts that I used, and I think it was quite productive, because most of them changed their way of capitalization and punctuation. It was, in fact, the composition was quite upgraded. Hope I answer your question.
Yeah, there is a very interesting comment here about what you said or your study. Have you seen that? Shall I read it aloud?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Nareg. I can relate to your topic because it's a recurring theme in my classes, especially in essay writing. What I did was teach them letters of the alphabet, big and small, and their uses. Start.
It was good. Only is when with fun, it makes it so easier, and they understand the stick.
Yeah. So that's Brenda's comment.
Yes, because what you did, Elvis, was you got the students to help one another.
Yes. So it was a kind of fun, and
and the competitive element, which makes it fun. Yeah, that's always a good, excellent idea.
Any other question? Does Osondu want to ask a question? Interestingly, many of these presentations, of the 6 presentations, there is quite a bit of focus on writing. You know, even lowercase, uppercase kind of thing. But otherwise, it's writing good essays. Why are they not interested? Note taking and so on. I in fact had a question to Liliane. Note taking is listening and note taking, is it? Or reading and note making? Or, I mean, what is note taking?
Can I respond to that question? Note taking, when a teacher goes into the class to teach the students in a Nigerian context, it is expected that after explaining to the students, after adopting your teaching methodologies, that you give them notes. A note is like a memorable part for the students.
Okay.
They read it. When you give them tests, they can read it to summarize and all that.
Okay, so you give notes and you want them to take it down.
Yes, into their notebooks.
Okay.
It's mandatory.
And in a class of a large class, a crowded classroom, even visibility can be a problem, like you have observed.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons I adopted the division of classboard, just writing in shorter lines for each section, so that the students can be interested, because those of them at the back, when the lines are so much, they start complaining. They can't see, even if they can see, but the length of the notes is a kind of encouragement and discouragement already for them. But the moment the board, by our implementation, the lines on the board, each section is shortened, that interest is there.
Yeah, interesting. One small question to Osondu. Are you there, Osondu? I don't know if he's there.
Hello, I'm here. I'm here. I've been here all this while.
Okay. Okay. When you say they were reluctant to learn phonology, and they are shy, or they're shy of fear, have the fear of making mistakes. So what kind of practical classes are you planning to have?
Okay. Very well, Ma. Thank you for asking. So, because English is not our native language, there are so many different words in English, and there are about 44 of them. Yeah, there are 44 speech sounds in English. So, especially the vowels are very difficult for Nigeria, or many persons. The consonants are a bit more easy, but the vowels are very difficult. So, what I try to do is we try to play around the sound. So we have like the phoneme in her, the sound. We try to. So there's this trend online, where so because my kids are social media centric, I'm able to know what's on trend. So there's this particular word that's called her. So it has that sound. So when I come to the class, you have to do crazy things. So when I come to the class, I say, everybody go purr. So we play with the sound, and everybody, before now, my students are not always interested in my class, not like in my class, but in phonology lessons, because they can be very difficult. So, with these particular, activities where I ask them to either make faces or to make a particular sound, especially like with this particular activity, like saying purr, and both the boys and the girls, every one of them will laugh, and they want to outplay the other person. So it becomes very interesting. They cackle, they laugh, and they learn. So I believe that when I introduce elocutionary exercises, like they playing with the sounds. And there's a particular sound, like the O sound, and then there's the R, and then there is A. So I go A R O O R A. We just play with the sounds, and I make it very interactive and very interesting for them. And this pours into our classrooms, and when they are happy, they learn. When they are excited, they also learn. So we just make it a fun activities that pour into learning. So that's how we've been able to do it. And I'll do that more next time, because for the time I implemented it, it was very effective.
Right. Yeah, great. Any question to Adebisi Victoria, who is actually working with younger children, 12 to 14 years, compared to the others in the group? That's what I mean. And it's also not a large class. So two differences from the rest of the group. Any question, or do you want to make any other observation that you weren't able to make when you presented? Anna, do you want to say something?
I think Adebisi might speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Rama.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes. It's quite been fun with them regarding, when something gives you concern and then you are really making effort to see how it comes out. It's not really about the class size. The children have different settings and background, and all of these affect the essay writing. The way they write shows from their background. Even though I have consistent ones that have been there for the past 3 years, and now they are in the fourth year in secondary school. And then we have other ones who are coming from outside, who came from probably government school, and the backgrounds are really showing. These ones are the ones that have serious issues with spelling. You know how you feel if you have a child in the 4th level and it's able to spell simple words. So it's taking time. So that's why on daily basis now, I ensure we do spelling drills. In fact, I have even made me send some of them for competitions. They train for spelling competitions to see how to brush up themselves. And the ones who are still found at the lower ladder, every morning I give them what to spell, write simple sentences, doing class sets of sentences for them to identify which one is simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentences. And with that, the joy I get is the one that makes me very excited. They are all willing and committed to progress or do better. So I'll keep doing that to make sure they are perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when the teacher trusts the students and sees that they are willing, I think half the job is done. Because usually if you take a kind of slightly negative approach, then you have lost the game. Yeah, Brenda. Do you have a question? No? No question? Okay.
I think we can probably bring this to a close.
Have we finished every... Unless somebody wants to say something, either the presenters or from the audience. Yeah, please go ahead. Maybe another 2 minutes or so. All right.
Please, could you repeat what you just said?
Yes, sorry, Lilian. What did you say?
I didn't get your words.
Are there any final comments before we wrap up, before we finish?
Okay. For me, I really want to, on behalf of others, because the way I feel, I also feel they feel the same way. We really appreciate Professor Ana. She has really done great work in us. God bless you, Professor Ana. You are so simple. You were not hard on us, and we could ask you any question at all. There are people who find it difficult to ask certain questions, but you are just different. No matter the question, you are there to attend to us. And we have gone to the field and really observed that these children, no matter the challenge we face with them, there are always solutions if only we can adopt the right strategies for those challenges we have discovered. That is what I have come to learn from our field studies, that there is no problem, there is no classroom problem that is not solvable in as much as we can identify strategies we can use to resolve those issues. And if we can identify ourselves with the students, because some teachers find it difficult to have good relationship with their students, and that actually makes it difficult to adopt some of the strategies they might actually have found out. But when there is good relationship with the students, it's always an easy thing. Like one of the mentees here spoke, Chidima, she was talking on ICSI. And for me, one of the challenges I faced in ICSI was these children able to replicate the constructive and the soundness in their construction. What I did was each time I was to teach them an ICSI, I give them a format on the board. Then I tell them, go back home, use my format and draw out yours. From that, They do theirs, and for me to teach them the patterns, I begin to sing song for them. I don't even bother if they are 5 years or 10 years. There's something I've discovered. Children so much like music. So I begin to teach them the songs of my words. And when they go back home, they remember those songs. The moment they come back to school, they are so happy to sing that song, and we get along with one another. Let's keep adopting our strategies. Things will become easier for us. Thank you very much, our mentors, and also Rama. God bless you.
Thank you very much. So we will close this session now. I have also given the 2 links, one for the certificate and one for your feedback. Please download it and complete it. And thank you all. Oh, Sally has a question. She wants to say something. Sally Dixon. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. It's not actually a question. It's appreciation. We want to thank you people very much for this opportunity. It's been nice working with everyone, Professor Anna, Dr. Sedan, Dr. Ekembe, Melanie, everybody. It's been wonderful working with you. Elton is planning to launch her Teacher Research SIG later in the year, and we will be calling on you, and we hope that you will support us and help us to grow better, bigger.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yeah, Osundu. Osundu has something to say. Go ahead. Osundu, are you there?
So it can be every one of us. We've done the work we've done to maybe like put all of that together wasn't as easy as everybody think it is. And I got to realize that Professor Anna was, simultaneously handling all 6 of us.
It's a bit unclear what you're saying. Maybe if you speak a little
to deal with, and she did
okay.
so excellently. All of us are here presented, we've all presented our research, and that.
Okay.
That's that's good. So I'm grateful for. So I want to use this moment like my regional supervisor and she fresh air. And she's like, I was going to work on the line sheet, so I was able to do my research because my regional supervisor helped me to give me that push, and then Professor Anna and every other person came together, and I was able to do that. Then secondly, I want to further emphasize on what Dr. Lillian had said. So I work with teenagers, and there's something I noticed. With teenagers comes a lot of power, comes with a lot of show of power, of hierarchy. They want to test boundaries. They are growing. Their testosterone, everything is on the high side. So as a teacher, there's something I would always suggest. You would have this drive to want to match their energies. I am not your mate. I am not that person you're to deal with. I am not on the same level with you. I have 1 million degrees. You are not intelligent. You can't, and all of that. I just feel like it's very unnecessary. What you can always do, I've learned something in psychology, connection before compliance. You have to connect with your kids first. They would, sometimes I talk, and many teachers, what we do is we always make children's behavior about them and not about the character. We should always try to address the character first, address the character and not the person, because many times these children are coming from broken homes, broken, dysfunctional families. They are trained by a single parent, and all of that in comfort can make children just behave anyhow. And then we have the society, we have what they watch, social media is very intoxicating. So I would say that the emotional intelligence should not be done away with. We should be emotionally intelligent. Sometimes our children are hungry, sometimes they are angry, they've not eaten, they are hawking in the streets. So they are dealing with a lot of things. So sometimes when you try to have a bit of backstory, you will understand that there's a lot that this child is even dealing with all of the expectation that I have given. So what I try to do is, they know me as the counselor. I'm always talking. I'm always giving, trying to make everybody better. What is your problem? What are you dealing with? How are you doing today? I ask those questions and I tell them words of affirmation. You are doing well. Even if they don't even pass their exams, I call them to my office. I talk to them. I encourage them because I believe that, encouragement
it's going to go a long way, because I feel that we teachers are also concerned about, oh, you failed, you did not do well, while you did not pass. We should also look more into positive reinforcement, telling them that, oh, you're doing well. I see you. I see your efforts.
Okay,
You're trying.
thank you. Thank you, Asondu. You're clearly passionate about teaching teenagers. Thank you very much. I think we need to wrap up. Yeah, we need to wrap up.
Very quick comments or whatever from Chidinma and Kezia. Very quick. 30 seconds. 30 seconds each.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's your challenge.
Okay. I want to really appreciate Professor Ana García, because this research, she really helped. At first, especially when I got to analyzing my findings, I just put it out to AI to do that, gave AI my information to analyze it for me. She was like, no, you have to do it yourself. She even had to give me resources to enable me. It was because of her efforts. I had to calm down and find out how I can interpret the information myself in my own words. And that has really helped me to understand. And I'm now seeing AI differently. Now I have to do my work myself, then just run it through AI to see if it is well presented, not to allow AI do the work for me. So thank you, Professor Ana.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good evening, Rama ma'am and Anna ma'am. Yeah, what I thought was this problem of uppercase and lowercase is especially is the problem with the English language, I believe, because even Nigerians are finding it a problem. So that's what my comment is. And everybody gave a very interesting presentation and very honest presentations. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
A lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so lots of kudos to Anna, and then I'm sure you've enjoyed working with these teachers who are excellent. So, and a lot of good luck for your further work, because this seems to be like, midway, where you have figured out what's going on and what else you need to do. So all the best with all your work.
Yes, they've worked very hard.
I can see that. Yeah. So Anna, over to you if you want to say something.
Well, no, I just want to thank everyone for all their very, very hard work. You still have a little way to go, some of you, to finish up, but well done, because you're working in challenging circumstances, and I know that you all have other commitments, so well done, everyone. And I'd like to encourage you all to come to the teachers' reflection at 5:15 GMT, which is 6:15 in West Africa. So it'll give you, the teachers, a chance to reflect on this research process, and I'm sure you'll all have interesting contributions to make. So well done.
Yeah.
We did it.
Thank you very much. And I was very happy to be part of this session. So I must thank Vanita and Anna and Ernesto and others, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Well done. Well done.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done.
Bye.